Have you ever noticed that small fabric loop stitched onto the back of some dress shirts, usually located between the shoulders? Most people have seen it, but few have ever stopped to wonder why it's there. It doesn't seem decorative, it isn't used to fasten anything, and many modern shirts don't even include it anymore. So what exactly is that little loop for? As it turns out, this tiny piece of fabric has a surprisingly interesting history. What began as a practical solution for college students eventually became a fashion statement, a social signal, and even a cultural phenomenon. Today, the locker loop remains one of those small design features that many people overlook, even though it has a story stretching back decades. So let's break it all down, right here, on History of Simple Things. The locker loop first became popular in the United States during the mid-20th century. While there are some debates about who introduced it first, most fashion historians credit clothing manufacturer Gant for helping popularize the feature in the late 1950s. At the time, many college students attended universities where dorm rooms often lacked enough closet space. Students frequently stored their clothing in gym lockers or wall hooks rather than hanging them in wardrobes. A dress shirt could easily become wrinkled if folded or tossed onto a chair. The solution was simple. Sew a small loop of fabric onto the back of the shirt so it could be hung directly on a hook without requiring a separate hanger. The loop allowed students to quickly store their shirts while helping reduce wrinkles. Because of its popularity on college campuses, the feature became known as the locker loop. The locker loop serves a practical purpose. Instead of hanging a shirt by the collar, which can sometimes distort the fabric over time, the loop provides a convenient hanging point near the shirt's center of gravity. When hung properly, the shirt's weight is distributed more evenly. This can help prevent stretching around the collar and reduce creasing. In the days before lightweight plastic hangers became common and inexpensive, this was especially useful. Students, athletes, and travelers could hang their shirts almost anywhere using a simple hook or nail. Even today, some people still use locker loops when changing clothes at the gym, storing shirts in small closets, or traveling where hangers may not be available. Interestingly, the locker loop didn't remain just a practical feature. During the 1960s and 1970s, especially on American college campuses, the locker loop became associated with what's often called Ivy League or preppy fashion. Students began viewing certain clothing details as symbols of status and social identity. At some universities, an unusual tradition developed. According to campus folklore, a male student might remove the locker loop from his shirt after entering an exclusive romantic relationship. The missing loop supposedly signaled that he was taken. At the same time, some women reportedly wore scarves around their necks to indicate a similar relationship status. There is little evidence that these customs were universally practiced, but the stories became widely known and helped give locker loops a cultural significance beyond their original purpose. Whether fact or campus legend, the locker loop had transformed from a practical feature into something people talked about. If locker loops were so useful, why don't all shirts still have them? One reason is changing fashion trends. As dress shirts became more tailored and fitted, manufacturers began focusing on cleaner, more minimalist designs. Some consumers viewed the loop as unnecessary or old-fashioned, particularly in professional settings. Another factor is that closets and hangers became more accessible. The original problem the locker loop solved simply became less common. Modern shirts are also often made from wrinkle-resistant fabrics, reducing concerns about improper storage. As a result, many brands decided to eliminate the loop entirely. However, some companies continue to include locker loops on casual button-down shirts, especially those inspired by traditional American collegiate fashion. For these brands, the loop serves as a nod to heritage and classic style rather than a strictly functional necessity. The locker loop isn't the only shirt feature with an interesting backstory. For example, many button-down shirts include a box pleat on the back, which provides extra room for movement. Like the locker loop, these details originated from practical needs but eventually became part of a shirt's overall design language. Many clothing features that seem decorative today were originally invented to solve real-world problems. The locker loop is simply one of the most recognizable examples. Ironically, the feature designed to make shirts more convenient wasn't always loved by everyone. The small fabric loop could snag on hooks, furniture, or other clothing, leading some people to cut it off altogether. There was also a durability issue. Since the shirt's weight hangs from a small strip of fabric, the loop could eventually tear after repeated use. As fashion shifted toward cleaner designs and many people stopped using them, manufacturers gradually removed locker loops from many modern shirts. Today they're often included more for tradition and style than necessity. The next time you spot a small fabric loop on the back of a dress shirt, you'll know it's more than just an overlooked piece of stitching. What started as a convenient way for college students to hang their shirts in crowded dormitories evolved into a recognizable symbol of classic American fashion. Along the way, it picked up stories, traditions, and cultural meanings that few people remember today. It's a reminder that even the smallest details in everyday objects often have fascinating histories hidden behind them. Sometimes a tiny strip of fabric can tell a much bigger story than you'd ever expect. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.